He claimed that he just simply couldn't stop himself and that prison was the only thing that could. These psychological and social factors created a perfect storm. Dahmer just wasn't a madman. He was deeply disturbed and profoundly isolated as an individual who hid terrifying impulses behind a quiet face. Jeffrey's trial began in 1992, and he pled guilty but insane. The verdict, however, was found that Jeffrey was legally sane, and he was sentenced to 15 consecutive life terms, which equaled 957 years.
Good deal. Well, I think people know what we're talking about then. They've got a good feel for it. So, again, this whole show is called Three Things. So I want to let you go first with your three things and why. So fire at it. What's your number one on the Jeffrey Dahmer?
My number one is his early childhood. You know, through watching the interviews, and there's so many interviews on him, we learned that Jeffrey, as a boy, he was just very withdrawn. He was shy. He was quiet. But he also had a real fascination for dead animals. And he was found by his parents to have dissected them, just go out and find them. And, you know, I always thought that was so bizarre that, I mean, most of us, we see them and we just think, oh, that's gross, and we keep going. But just to think that somebody at such a young age would want to scoop that up and dissect it.
And I think we hear that about serial killers.
Yes.
I've never deep dove it too much, except for the ones that I investigated, and never looked into their background that hard. But we hear that's one of the things that they say is there. And, you know, we talked to Jai Hamilton about the relationship between domestic violence and pet ownership and things like that. And the cruelty that one of the suspect in that murder, she talked about putting their dog in the oven and then being able to stab somebody just, what was it, like 80
It was
or
over 100 times.
Yeah, over 100 times. Is that maybe there's something to that. I just remember back in the day, especially when I was out on patrol, every now and then you bump into an animal cruelty case where somebody cut a cat up with a sword or something.